Hi everyone, welcome to another Past Lives reading. It's going to be charms and tarot cards. I'm approaching this one as a pick a deck, so just to allow you some time to tune in because I'm an organic reader. I'm going to just share with you that before I sat down, I was really tuned into the music playlist I kind of picked this morning. It had a collection of various artists with some like new sound. I don't know if one of the past lives we'll be traveling to here is connected to sort of a significant event or a time in history where music or sound sort of played a key role. Like Mozart comes to mind, Beatles, Elvis. If there was a significant change, or if just sort of the artist community was doing a significant change at that time. So interested to see if that comes up. The other thing that I was drawn to do before I sat down to do the reading, I did a couple Reiki sessions this morning. I try to do a couple every day. So I don't know if you are a healer, if you're in a healing profession and you're here to see how a past life, the talents, the tools, the experiences can help you in your present day and continue to pursue your healing career, or maybe you need healing, which is why I did a Reiki session this morning. I focused one of them on lower back pain. Did some DIY recently, and I think I may have lifted something. But so it's interesting to see if either of those kind of circumstances this morning will play a role here in where we're going in the past life. So if you do need more time, feel free to pause the video, and I will timestamp below. Otherwise, I'm going to jump into deck one. So I'm just going to put deck two aside. And we're going to start with getting our charms out. And then we'll get some cards to complement. And we're going to go see where a past life has some advice, talent, something we can tap into to leverage in our present life. It'd also be really interesting to me if we just go somewhere completely different than what I was kind of describing in the intro. Oh, we got a couple charms here falling on a second attempt of the same story. So in my intro, if you skip the intro, I was talking about music. So maybe in a past life, and a healing. So maybe there's, this is our second attempt at those industries, at those talents, at those gifts. Oh, I think you're over here then. Oh, soul link. Okay, yeah. The second time in a soul link. Interesting for this group. I'm going to move that one. I think it does want to stay on soul link. Just kind of keep going around. So you can get some more information about this second attempt at a soul lesson. So all of you joining today, obviously you've been here at least once before. So you have at least one past life experience. Wow, my hand got really excited as I came over this section here. So I wonder if it's more of this unresolved trauma. That's where my hand got my fingers almost wanted to just open and let them all drop out. I'm just going to do a final pass just to see. Okay. So I'm going to place these two because I definitely felt like they need to remain on Soul Link. We have our second attempt here. I'm going to let it stay touched here to the tile next door because it feels like it wants to. Something about safety, maybe in the 1450s as well. I'm more leaning towards safety with the strength message here, the courage, safety to kind of do so. Okay, let's see if these are all in the right place. These definitely want to come down here. So we're going to leave these up here. So we have military service, 1200s to 1300s. Interesting that we have both the Mongol Empire and the Ming Dynasty. That's a similar region geographically. You know what? I'm going to leave the lion here. walking towards your soul purpose, because we have soul link and soul purpose. So sort of a pull here. I'm not feeling this quadrant. I feel more like he's kind of en route. I'm actually going to pull him into just soul purpose. Otherwise, I'll forget. Okay. So we'll move the charm so we have room for the cards. So what we're going to do is we're just going to step back to our past lives. The angels are going to walk us through the Akashic records. And they're going to give us some cards here to help describe the past life so you can gain understanding, and then pull from there probably the life lesson or the gift or the talent that they want you to remember that you have, the person, the beautiful soul that you are. I'm just going to place them where I'm drawn to. They keep showing me this one. We got kind of a 3 grouping split here, so maybe they're breaking things up here. I don't know why they want me to dig back here. Must be a reason. So I'm just gonna focus in on these cards here, see what they want me to do. Okay. Pretty buried in there. Maybe I should have just kept shuffling. All right. So where are we going? Where are we traveling? I think for this reading today, I'm going to do cards first. I'm just putting the deck aside here, and then we'll go into the charms, because charms are usually cautionary messages to help us be prepared. So I think we need to go into our past life here first before we go into the action items for our present life here. I'm going to start at the top. See if we get a sense here where we're going. So for me, I'm happy to see the stag spirit. That's my spirit guide. So for me, this is a welcome to you and all of us to the Akashic records here. And then we have this beautiful, angelic fairy with him. So, all of your angels and all your spirit guides joining us on this journey. So maybe that's why I chose these top cards. It's really nothing more than a welcome. Thank you for being open-minded and willing to go on this journey into your soul path here. So I'm drawn to the light here that the angel, your guardian angel, is pointing at, sort of like, here we go, here's where we're going. So I'll leave these up here. And I'll see if there's a connection back to where we end up. But we're traveling here. Time travel. I wonder if there's a scientific angle here, because I watch Doctor Who, so it's kind of like the doctor is stepping forward to greet you, right? Here's my spirit guardian, and then here's all of us coming on board, right? Joining them. For some reason they keep saying time traveling versus just going back into a past life. I wonder why. We have the wolf twice, so that'll be interesting. So let's see, we're stepping into the moonlight, the moon magic, traveling here at night. I bet a lot of you joining us who were drawn to this deck, you're probably also drawn to dream interpretations. You probably remember your dreams. You probably easily immerse yourself in your dreams as well as like an active participant. And they're drawing me here to the age of the trees. So this group, all of us journeying together here with this deck, we're all old souls. We've been here plenty of times before. Maybe that's why we're engaged here in a second chance. We've come back, we've grown, we've come back, we've grown, and now we're prepared to kind of tackle this life lesson again, what it is. It could also be how far back we're going as well. If they're really pulling me into the trees here, if we're following this older tree, the larger tree here in the forefront, and we're kind of coming down towards the wolf, greeting us, right? The gatekeepers, they were greeting us. And here's our, the soul, the wolf here. Well, the unresolved trauma, maybe that's why we're traveling back to this point in time when we have this unresolved trauma. So you're kind of greeting yourself here. Okay, so we're going, this is a deep trauma then. If we're going that far back, 1400s or the Ming Dynasty, and we had the Mongol Empire over here, 1200s, the year's 2025. So, this is a pretty far distance we're going. No wonder we have the spirit guardian not only opening the portal and managing sort of our bridge here, our connection, and maintaining it, but our angels are the ones kind of guiding us and bringing us on through. Okay, so get prepared. We're heading into a trauma here that we need to resolve and overcome in this present life. This is our chance to resolve that and not bring it forward to our next life or a future life as a lesson. It's almost like they're actually telling us like this a storybook, like a sweet tale, right? Because now here we are, they've greeted us, our angels have flown us down, our soul has greeted us, and now see the spirit guide here, right? The little deer, our loved ones, our angels, our butterflies, guiding us down this path now, right? Come back. This gentleness of coming back to this time period, because they know there's trauma there, right? So, we have all this gentleness. Maybe it's childhood trauma because it is a baby deer, baby elk. They have reverted from angels to their gentle butterfly state, kind of like the windmill above the head, right? The baby's head. And they also chose a pretty youthful age here in the person heading down to the past here in the woods. We're back in the woods here as well. Okay. I mean, you can't get more traumatic than the lightning bolt, right? The chaos. And I didn't mention it before, but this charm is my charm of chaos and conflict, feeling like you're spinning out of control, or your world is not yours to control, right? Zeus is up here, Father Sky, and he's kind of ruling the forest down below where you're living, right? They're showing you the forest here. The sense of, and maybe that's how you feel now. Maybe your world is you feel like your world is spinning out of control. Maybe you don't feel like you have the control. And I did say that you were the group that are controlling in your dream, right? Didn't I say that you're probably active, vivid dreamers, and maybe that's their way and my way of saying that, we're coming down this path here. Because so far in the cards, I'll probably have to shuffle more cards, because so far we've just been traveling. And maybe that's why they kept saying time traveling. So maybe I have to go into the charms first to really lay the story, and then I'll complement with more cards, because so far I think all we've done is travel down and walked along this path to come back to this traumatic period, this trauma that was suffered. And like I said, I feel very youthful. So you were not an adult at the time. I know we're going back in history when human lives weren't as long. So to suffer a significant trauma at like the age 12, 13 is kind of following in what I know of just like human history, right? So since I've already started over here, let's just continue here and see what this story is. So as I was saying, the wolf here, this is about being loud. He's howling, he's screaming, being upset, angry, frustrated, sort of all those emotions, right? Whether you're screaming aloud for real or you're not, and that's sort of how you feel inside. It's also wanting to be heard. So like whether you're talking or not, there's like a sensation of you're not being heard and you want to be heard, or you're being quieted. You know, maybe people are shushing you, or people are talking over you a lot, or they just don't, like, they give you time to speak, but you can tell that they're not actually actively listening to you. It's also like an indication of like fighting within a relationship. And I know that they're bringing us back to a time when you were younger, and maybe it's affecting present day relationships. Maybe this is why it's a second go around at having a positive relationship. It is paired with my double heart, which is when it's dotted on the outside like this, it means all needs aren't being met, not fully satisfied, not currently following a passion, sort of that uncertainty as well, and protection. You know, you're kind of withholding your heart in this smaller size, and not sure if you can allow it to kind of grow larger. So there's definitely maybe a relationship of significance. It doesn't have to be like a lover's relationship. It could be a teacher-student relationship. I personally have had, some traumatic experiences in the school system that kind of bumped me away and down different professional career options. So just for an example of sort of I think it's just kind of maybe adult to child relationship, and however that trauma happened. But it seems more of just not hearing your voice, just really stifling you, stifling your creativity, stifling who you are, stifling who you want to be. Maybe you wanted to be a singer and they kept shushing you. Like, that's enough. You sang 3 songs, that's enough. Play more quietly. And that's traumatic, because that kind of reduces who you are, and kind of starts to restrict you. I am being drawn to military service for sort of the past life, and I wonder if they're drawing me to military service because you just kind of follow, right? When you're a soldier of certain rank, you're taught that you're like you're aware and you're protecting, but you're quiet, right? You're fighting, so you're quiet in the trenches. You're not making noise. You're using signals. You don't speak unless your sergeant gives you permission to speak. There's some alignment here to this military service that they put on, with this feeling of the chaos. Your world is spinning. You don't have the control, right? You don't have the control. Military, you don't have the control. Adult to child, you don't have the control. My graduation day charm is all about a significant milestone. Doesn't necessarily mean that you were graduating. So, graduating from military service, potentially. But this is just maybe it's a milestone age, like a transition period. Like when you enter high school, or before you head off to post-secondary MBA, like when you start to know who you are and what your interests and your passions are, and that's when you start to decide where you want to go professionally. And like I was saying, the example that they kind of brought forth from my own childhood was the couple teachers that kind of knocked me enough that I kind of gave up on an interest and passion that I wanted to pursue as a career, and I went down a completely different path, which I'll be honest with you, my world was chaotic, going down this completely different path that originally was not my passion. So that would have been a milestone in my timeline, right? In my present day timeline. So look back in your history, see if there was a very clear moment in time where, someone's influence on you made you give up on something. And you just kind of put it aside as um, a part of you, something you just kind of completely closed off that interest. There was no more pursuit. It could have been a sport that you were going to go after. Maybe it was playing an instrument and you just kind of, okay, fine, the lack of support and kind of the opposite of support, like I was saying, the kind of hushing, the stifling, the quieting of you. Okay. I'm going to jump across. I'm going to come down the middle last. So I was drawn to the safety here, the 1450s. Maybe that's where I'm feeling the significant musical time period. I wasn't feeling music over here, right? Military was really drawing me. But in my intro, I was talking about music being a significant element. Maybe music plays a significant role in your life now. It definitely does for me. I get through a lot with music. But safety is really the word that's drawing me over here with this second attempt at the same story. And it's like a nice message here from our angels, letting us know that it's safe to choose yourself this lifetime. It's safe to stand up against any detractors, any saboteurs, and say, no, this time I choose myself, right? I choose strength. I choose me. This is my time to shine. And we do have the starfish, one of my stars. So, star in itself is shiny and it's a little embossed, so it has a bit of a twinkle to it, as I say, shine. But my starfish is all about the dimensions of us and movement. Because I always see it as those little pinwheels that you blow on as children. You put in your gardens. They come in different colors, right? They're plastic. They're really colorful and vibrant. And that's what you are, right? You're colorful, you're vibrant, you have all these different dimensions of self, and there's movement. And like I said, they've been drawing me this time to read it more as a shining star. So the second attempt of showing off who you are. You're a shining star. And the made with love is passion. So they're essentially trying to fill you whole here. If I was to put it on top, it's the exact same size. So this is made with love. This is follow your passion. Your passion is your gift, is your talent. And you probably know that, your intuition and your gut. Especially since this is the second time around. Your soul is going to be talking to you really loudly with the push to go this way. So maybe you are like me. Maybe you've been debating a complete 180 on an industry change, on a career path. I've walked away completely from that other version of me that I got pushed down at that significant moment in my time period, which was high school. My decision of where I was going post-secondary, the courses I was taking, those two teachers really influenced that, and poorly, because like I said, I've been not very happy with sort of the career path I went. It wasn't fulfilling, but now I'm being fulfilled. I chose me. I chose to go back to what I was interested in and be authentic and vulnerable and show all my dimensions. This is doing readings here for you publicly. That's one version of my dimensions, and kind of stepping out and just showing you how I do it. Kind of lead by example here, I guess. Okay. So Soul Link. We have two interesting charms here, an interesting pairing. The wine barrel is all about a period of celebration. So there may be a group of you that are like me, that you've already made this decision and you've already started that new start, that new journey, the second chance. And then the rest of you, so celebrating, those of us who have made that decision, and then the celebration to encourage, when you support and applaud on the side of like a marathon, right? You support your athlete, your runner, your cyclist on the sidelines, cheering them on. that sensation, that feeling of celebration coming out of this. And this is also another charm that's a big milestone. So a big milestone moment, in this lifetime, like I was saying, for me was high school, and now the big milestone moment is now in my 40s, making that shift. So, 20 years later, a 20-year spread here. So, I don't, like, I was just kind of looking back at the years to see if there was, if we just added an extra zero and it was like a 200-year spread. But sort of that length of time, right? And sort of coming back to the size of the tree. So within one lifetime, 20 years, and if I go playful with the angels and go, okay, well, 20 years in human life means X number of years in past life regression, similar to like 1 year human is 5-year dog, right? So I feel like there's some kind of math equation that they want me to do here in order for us to see just how far back we're going since the last time we made the attempt of learning as a soul that the right decision is to put ourselves first, right? Interesting that that's a lesson we're struggling on based on the age of our soul. I kind of feel like I'm drawn here to pile deck one with you all, and I'm wondering to myself, why would it take me so many lifetimes to come back and try to learn this lesson of putting yourself first. So my high heel charm with the butterfly, this is a caution about feelings of jealousy, sort of that headspace. So envy, jealousy, self-doubt because of what we perceive others' lives to be, self-critical because we're not as far as long as other people around us tend to be. So there's a caution to not sit in that space, and it is sitting on Soul Link. So maybe that's why I went there next. Maybe that's the answer to the question I just said out loud with you, is like, why has it taken us so long to learn this lesson? And maybe it's because we really struggle with the envy, the self-doubt, being self-critical. I did talk about a saboteur down here, right? So maybe we're our own saboteur. Maybe it's not always an external influence. Maybe in other lifetimes leading up to this one, it's been an internal critical saboteur, but it's definitely something that our soul has been working on multiple times here with the Soul Link. It's definitely been in our plan here. And then we have my confident lion, sort of the opposite of the screaming wolf here, calm, collected, the leader, full of courage, right? If we go to Wizard of Oz, our cowardly lion realized he was full of courage. And where's he headed? Your soul purpose is here. This is our time to live our soul purpose in this lifetime. Embrace it. So if you're drawn to music, like I was playing my music this morning, and you want to be, known for someone who has a unique sound and unique style, do that. That's your soul purpose. That was made with love. You're supposed to shake up the industry. You are the next Elvis, right? You are the next Beatles, the next Mozart, Amadeus. I was looking at the green because green is Archangel Raphael's healing colors. And just to throw myself back in as the example, I left the industry I was in to pursue this more of a healing path, tapping into my healing energies. In the intro, I talked about the Reiki I did this morning, following my soul purpose confidently. So I do want to go back into the cards, though. I do want to see if I can get more elaboration on the past life. That's what I'm more intrigued with. I know I came into this reading with the intent of, what do we need to learn from a past life to conquer something in this life? And they're letting us know, well, hey, this is your second chance. But I want to see what's at the end of this path here. I want a little bit more insight into maybe the last time we kind of saw this chaos, right? The first time we were conquering this lesson, what did that look like? Who were the people around us? who were we? Were we healers and creatives and musicians? Let's see here. Okay. Give us more details about this past life. That's the fun stuff. Okay, we got the lesson. So let's go into what can you tell us before we leave the Akashic records here. Okay. I don't know why I spread them out just to pick them all up and do it all again. Okay. Ooh, we got some winter time here. Really connects back to that Mongol energy empire, right? The heavy fur cloaks and sort of fashion that I see in the history textbooks with sort of the Mongol, not just soldiers, but even like in the sort of, I guess, royalty houses or the more affluent owners. And I do believe that they also had, significant winters too, didn't they? I'm just thinking geographically that they would. This bear seems very significant too. I wonder if the bear appears in any kind of Mongol Empire era, like flags or symbolism, like their artistry, or what the meaning of the bear is to them. But bear is courage, right? He's protecting her. She's tapping into, right? She's touching the bear and tapping into his energy of courage, strength, bravery, everything that they told us to tap into this lifetime. The strength, the bravery, the courage to step forward into your soul purpose in this lifetime. Give it back out to the world. Tap into it. Who cares about what other people think, what their judgment is? This is your soul purpose. And they are pulling me up to the word healing. I usually kind of avoid wording on cards, but healing. And I had been talking about healing, and I was using my example of pursuing more of a healing, giving back industry versus where I was at. So maybe you have a similar story to me where you're pursuing more of a healing path professionally, or a path professionally where you feel like the rest of your life is healing, right? The chaos here. You're happier, you're more content, your heart center is more full, you've resolved the trauma. So of course there's self-healing there as well. I know I picked up these two cards, but I'm staring down at her with the blue hues here, all the emotions, conquering emotions. And we had the emotion of envy, jealousy, the saboteur, and it's acceptance. So it's like healing that way of thinking, and she is looking off to the dreamscape, her dream catcher. So we have what is this? Connection number 3 to all of your ability to connect into your intuition, your intuitive abilities, your psychic abilities, your dreamscape, your ability to take control here and manifest. And we have the lovely forest again below you, but now she's above. Look who is above now. We went from this external influence, right? Father Sky or Zeus here, raining down on us, chaos, to now you're the one reigning above all. And look how much larger you are to him as well in scale, so much grander. I wonder if that's the scale of like reward to achievement of this lesson, right? You pursue your soul purpose and look at the size of how much abundance and prosperity surrounds you in your life when you follow a soul purpose, when you follow a passion versus being knocked down paths other people want you to go down. Okay. So the last two cards were wisdom here. You know, I always see more of like a phoenix rising when I look at her. I don't know if it's because the owl's above her and kind of has that fiery tail, but you know, I always feel like this is the phoenix after it's risen from the ashes, right? It's landed and says, "Here I am," kind of walking towards you. And then we have your angel, kind of pointing back down here, kind of beckoning us back on the boat, right? Time to go. You've had your time here. You're now you're ready to be this phoenix rising out of the ashes. You've collected your wisdom, right? We're going to take this knowledge, our owl, we're going to take it forward. And she's inviting us back on the boat here. So unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to shuffle anymore. It looks like, you know, our journey, our trip here has come to a conclusion. Our angel, your guardian angels, are satisfied that you've collected the knowledge that you needed today to glow up, right? To embrace your courage, your bravery, to just step out, go the direction that your heart is pulling you. And you know, this is your milestone. This is your moment. This is your moment now. So thank you to those of you drawn to deck 1. I am an organic reader. I'm just going to clean up, and we're going to pop into deck number 2. So if you're drawn to that as well, please stick around. Otherwise, you can pop off. And I will see you at the next past life reading. Okay. Oop. I almost lost the charm there. I'm sorry. I'll see you. Yeah, I did catch it on my lap. Good. Okay. All right. Okay, so group number 2, welcome. What we're going to do is use charms and the tarot cards to travel back into the Akashic records, go into our past, and today's focus of the reading is to go back to a previous lifetime that's going to have lessons, information, motivation for us that we can apply in our present life, our present soul time here to conquer maybe a lesson that we're learning now, something that's connected. Deck number 1, we did go to a second attempt story, so we went back to the first attempt and we learned our lesson there. So let's see where we're going for deck number 2. So I'll start with the charms. Okay. And if I ever pause, it's just because I can feel movement of the charms. And so I just want to give the angels time to pull out the ones that they want to pull out. So let's see where we're traveling to here, group number 2. If you did skip the intro, deck number 1, we kind of went into a healing journey, so which did have a tie back to music, which were the two things that I was connecting with before I sat down to read. So I don't know if the second group we're going to go somewhere completely different, or there's also a healing or musical element to this, but just a completely different time period, different lesson. And that's maybe why all of us came to the same reading today, because we have that healing journey, music, historical period connection collectively. Sorry, they're distracting me here a little bit with trying to tune in, but also do my preamble, just so you're not just sitting and waiting, for those of you who like to watch the process. Okay, so I'm just going to tune in, make sure that they've landed everywhere that they actually wanted to. This also just kind of helps me tune in to see where they want to start. We do have a lesson yet to be learned, something about cutting a cord here, something we brought forward from another soul life, which, you know, was similar to group 1. We were talking about a lesson, and group 1 was in the middle of the second attempt, like the present was their opportunity to make that decision. So I'm wondering why we're up here for you all. Step 2 here, group 2. I'm going to leave that crossing. Okay. I'm just going to move these out of the way so we have room for cards if needed. So let's dive into the cards to see. Ooh, okay. They're excited. So the cards are going to help us understand where we're going here in time, where they're taking us in the records. It's going to help explain the lesson that we're here to learn, or the lesson yet to be learned, apparently. You know, what we brought forward, and maybe they'll tell us why we brought it forward. You know, why we chose this lifetime to work on this lesson. And they usually give us some nice tips and motivational, supportive messaging of what to do next through the charms as well. So we'll see here where we're going. If I move around cards, it's because they're drawing me to dig back, and I'll always reshuffle if I feel like I need to get closer to any others. We're going pretty deep here, so I don't know if that's a sign of how far back the angels are taking us here. Oh, okay, interesting. I'm going to start with those two just because of my reaction with them. Okay, just putting the cards aside, and we'll grab them when we need them. Okay, so let's start with these two up here. Let's see why I reacted the way I did. Oh, well, that's interesting. We actually have the pairing of the high priest and priestess. I love how the angels are greeting us today. In this past live reading, deck 1 was similar. Right off the top, I had 2 cards, and it was them greeting us to records. I actually don't want to hold them close. I want to go like this, like they're on either side of the doorways, right, heading into the grand library. And here are the 2 angels, the 2 angel guardians of the Akashic records, kind of standing aside. You know, our guardian angels have granted us the passage, right? They've spoken the secret word to let us in here. So the guardians here, the grand guardians of the records, are like, yep, okay, you can come in. You're coming in with your guardian. So second time we've been greeted here and welcomed into the library, into the Akashic records. So that's nice. It's nice to have. It's nice to see how happy they are to see us. Like even then, I just want to kind of put some distance between them. So we'll do that. We'll have our little doorway here to the past. Okay. I'm going to go in front of me. We're going to we'll dive into the charms afterwards, but I think we're going to go through all the cards here first and see where we're going. So there's definitely something about this upcoming fall period. So September, October time, November time period for all of you globally, even if that's not your fall season. I'm Canadian, so it's the fall season for me. So they're just trying to give me that September, October, November milestone here, time frame. That might be where we're going back. We might be going back to a fall season, a more colder, or not cold, but a cooler climate here. The orange and the white of the fox is also really calling out to me here. There might be some significance there for those of you watching. Orange and white are where we're going, or even just fox fur, or fox hunting. Maybe we're going to a time period when that was more prevalent. You know, something that was maybe something we participated in. Yeah, there's this. Well, you would hunt in the fall too, wouldn't you? You'd do some kind of hunting expedition. The crow is a messenger from heaven here. Like in our present day, if a crow is cawing at you or around you, definitely pay attention. The number of caws and has different messaging for you, but they're messengers direct from heaven here. So I'm wondering why he's traveling with us. I'm drawn back to our guardian angels sitting at the door here, but our crow is coming with us. They're sending an earth world messenger with us into the Akashic records. That is interesting to me. I haven't had that before, where the angels have remained outside. I wonder why we're learning this alone. Because this messenger is going to bring the knowledge back from the library and into our present day, right? If we start to forget, the crow's going to caw in the sky for you, right? A crow is going to fly by and caw a few times, delivering the message, or they're going to land nearby, or you're going to see a murder of crows. So count how many number of crows suddenly come and sit and look at you. I wonder if we're a bit absent-minded, we're forgetful in this waking life, when maybe this group is opposite to the first group. The first group was very good at remembering dreams. I don't see the dreamscape here, so maybe that's why the crows are your messengers. You're someone who struggles with connecting to the dreamscape in order to remember and remind yourself of what you learned in the record. So we have an earth messenger coming to retain the knowledge with us. Okay. Well, we got more hunting, more hunting imagery here. So I definitely think we were hunting back then in this past life where we're going, right? At the fox, I was starting to feel hunting as something we were doing fall time. Here we have the explicit hunter. We also have the elk and the ram antlers, so various antlers. We have a jackalope, and then we have the wolf. We have eagle feathers, and the primitive painting here, the skulls, the primitive painting. So we must be going back to a society, a time period when society was very much still foraging off the earth, foraging off the land. We could be going, I'm getting called away from saying Viking. So I don't want to say Viking, but I was starting to go there just because of the waviness of the hair, but I was getting stuck on the bones. I feel this is more primitive to Vikings, the cavernous here, but I'm not feeling caveman. So we're not that far back. Maybe we'll get some time period out of the chart here. But we're hunting and pretty primitive here. Pretty primitive, or maybe I should be saying indigenous, not a primitive. Like Aztec markings, indigenous markings. Like the warriors, like telling your story on your skin, like very early day tattoos, as they made me want to turn my own arm over. Even with the dotting around her eyes, the painting to show your status in the community as well. Maybe that's why I'm being drawn to Aztec, only because I know that history. I've traveled to kind of look at some of those landmarks. But there is blocks, and we are starting with an Egyptian theme here. So we have pyramids, right? The construction of blocks for dwellings, the construction of blocks for dwellings, but not castle. I'm not getting castle here. I'm also not getting fortress either, like a military fortress. I'm not feeling that either. It's just the style of dwelling that they're in here. Okay. Oh, we have a healer, 2 healers. Well, a healer and a peacekeeper. And I was, like I said in the intro, I was drawn to healing before doing this. So maybe music is just more of the time period, right? Drumming would be definitely heard, drumming and singing, voice vocalization. And then we have my prominent healer here. She's my health healer, health dietitian, nutrition, Mother Earth. Again, we have foraging off the earth. So meat and veggies, right? Farming and hunting. Medicine woman. And then you have the peacekeeper here with a clear indigenous, for me, indigenous analogy here for me. The peacekeeper that they chose. The buffalo as well. I think I was talking ram, buffaloes. Here in Canada, she does remind me of a lot of our indigenous beautiful beadings in the fashion, right? The tools. They're really drawing me into this full kind of outfit and full aspect of her. So I guess we're really into that time period. So I guess this would be I really don't know. I guess this would be before. It's definitely before colonization of North America, just from sort of the cavernous and the hunting and the foraging and the sort of living off the land. Even the mentality, right? The roles. I'm really getting called out of the roles in society. We have the hunter, probably the shaman here, right? The one who is connecting and speaking to the spirits and the oracle. Then you have the healer, and then you have like the peacekeeper, right? Either the chieftain or the politician, right? The one who's keeping the community organized, the mayor. So very, very clear societal roles here, and maybe I'm getting all of these because there's so many of us coming together to travel down a past life, and potentially this was the last time we were all together. The last past lives reading, I did that where we went to the last time those of us watching the video were here together on Earth, and maybe we're doing that again. We're kind of all here again. So hopefully you can kind of see yourself in one of these roles, because we're also doing what are lessons to bring forward in this present life. So you would have a similar role now, right? You might be that, that politician, like I was saying, that peacekeeper leadership kind of role. Then we have our healer. Then we have sort of the hunter gatherer, the laborer individual working with his hands, getting dirty, working with the earth. And then we have the sort of the truth seer here. So maybe a lawyer, justice, fairness, kind of comes out of that, and leadership again. So there's kind of, leadership in every area, but there's sort of the law and justice along with community alignment here. Okay, so let's dive into the charms and see here where we're going. I'm going to start at the top because I'm very intrigued and drawn to my lucky four-leaf clover here. Sort of the shamrock. Lesson yet to be learned that you've brought forward into this lifetime, and they're showering you here with luck, which the fortune's in your favor. So time to act would be now. So if you see yourself in one of these roles but you're not currently doing it, time would be to act now, apply to that job, pursue that role, become that person. But it's paired with my cutting the cords. So kind of walking away from the past. So actually maybe it's the opposite, because these are all prominent roles, right, that I was saying in society. So maybe you're someone who wants the opposite. You don't want this level of authority, this level of responsibility, and that's okay. You don't always have to take everything on, right? You don't have to be the peacekeeper and the healer and the hunter and the truth sayer. You can pick and choose just one of those. So cut the cord with some of these. Maybe these are all your past lives. Maybe that's why I'm struggling with a clear time period here. Maybe that's 1, 2, 3, 4 lives already where you felt like you had to take on everything. You had to take on the whole burden. So you gotta cut that cord. You gotta cut that thinking. Luck is on your side to do it. Okay. Just make sure I can see all the language on the tiles. I'm going to flow this way. I'm going to start with our notebook. So we kind of established what they want us to do. They want us to cut the cord. Luck is on our side to do so this lifetime, and not bring forward what we've brought forward into the next lifetime. So we're starting here with my notebook, and this is your soul's notes, right? This is your crow, your companion crow here, who's helping you remember everything. They write everything down, and they want you to kind of look back, go back through your notes, reflect, right? You came back to a past life reading. And this was on Explorer Adventurer. I'm wondering if you distract yourself with adventure, exploration, maybe in every lifetime, and that's why you still haven't learned this lesson of not carrying everything through, not bringing everything forward. Not, like I said, you're overwhelming yourself here with responsibility and accountability and commitment. Every time I look at each one of these cards, they're doing it for the whole of the community, right? The peacekeeper is standing up for everyone. The healer she's the great healer, so she's healing everyone. He's hunting and foraging for everyone, right? You know, she's trying to keep the peace and justice here and fairness for everyone. Trying to forecast the future to make sure the future is brighter for everyone. So there's just so much on you right now. Notebook is also drawing me to like the act of delegation, right? You can write down in your notebook who is responsible for what, and it shouldn't be your name beside everything. Okay, so then we have, family patriarch, family matriarch, money maker. Didn't I just say you're taking everything on? You're the one that's doing everything. And that's paired with chaos, my charm for spinning out of control. The environment that you're in right now, or your world, you might find yourself saying, like, my world is just too chaotic right now. Well, of course it is. Look at everything you're doing. Look at everything you're taking on. You can be a patriarch or matriarch. You can be the main revenue generator for your household without doing everything. And then we have my DIY charm. If dad can't fix it, no one can, which means the opposite, which means you have all the tools and knowledge. So again, we're coming back to this lack of knowledge. You know, your crow carrying the knowledge for you. Your knowledge, your lesson to learn, which is one, it's okay if it breaks. You can fix it. This is my DIY charm. So you know how to fix it. You don't have to rely on anybody else to fix it, but it's okay for it to fail. It's okay for it to break. It's okay for fixing to be needed to happen. So we're on ancient Rome. We have the Colosseum, sort of the hundreds as a year. We have 117. Maybe just those numbers mean something to you. That it could be the angel numbers as well. 11 and 7, which are actually lucky numbers. So we're coming back to the luck here. They're pulling me back to the luck. The strong is beautiful. Sorry, they're stopping me. They want me to go back to ancient Rome here in the Colosseum with the hunter. But sort of all these rules, right? You know, you had the peacekeeper, you had the leader, right, at the head of society, standing up, making decisions. You always had a primary healer for that individual. And then you had your gladiators in the tunnels. Maybe that's why I kept seeing the Colosseum's built with blocks, right? So maybe that's why I kept seeing these tunnels here. And then, of course, they're obviously taken, these gladiators. So this could be, you know, their family or even the crowd, you know, cheering them on, wanting them to come back. And sort of if I go that route, it's sort of the levels of society, right? And kind of working our way up here. So maybe that's where they want us to go. You know, maybe you were on either side, you know, maybe you were above ground, right? These cards are very vibrant in colors. or maybe you were below ground in the tunnels, or what they considered the conquered societies that they were taking the individuals from, or the peasantry, right? The ones in the stands that were forced to cheer here. Okay, now they're letting me move on. So strong is beautiful. This is about self-confidence, self-esteem. So struggles with that they don't want you to bring forward, that they want you to conquer in this lifetime. But it's also just courage, right? And courage on top of a Colosseum in Rome. I can't think of more courageous people than gladiators being thrown into it. My sunflower is all about a standstill, either a feeling of nothing's moving forward for you. So maybe you feel like no matter how much I take on, no matter how high I get, this could also just be a sign of you professionally. Like no matter how high you climb in your career, maybe you're CEO or founder now, you just feel like your life doesn't change. Everything's at a standstill. You try so much, you're the money maker, right? You try to fix everything, but you're at this standstill. I'm ignoring illegal activities because tough times is where the charm landed here. And we're coming from a standstill. So I don't know if it was a tough struggle to climb here for you. And so now you're at a standstill mentally and in your heart. Passion has just been kind of killed, the arrow through the heart. Maybe you worked so hard to climb and you feel like there's a lack of recognition. But it has my directional arrow, which is pointing to follow your heart, right? Follow your soul path here. And you have two soul paths intertwined, which we know. We're here at a past life reading to go back to a past life where we had a similar struggle. But there's a message here of keep pushing forward, right? Keep pushing forward through these tough times. There's happier, more passion waiting for you. There's just happiness waiting for you. And they are pointing to the heart, the dove, and the horseshoe here. So we've got luck, which is almost turned all the way up, right? It is on a bit of an angle, but it's almost all the way up to start collecting. So continue down this path, continue pushing through the tough time, continue pushing through from peasant to gladiator to champion to leader, right? To freedom, I guess, for gladiator, right? Capture, fighting, healing, winning, right? All the money, wealth, and then peace, freedom. So, maybe there's a sense of freedom, especially if it's money, if you've been struggling with money and then you have all this money coming into you, all this wealth, you're wrapped around wealth here. So you do achieve wealth. This would be a tough time. So push on through your tough time. You've already done it. And you found peace, you found freedom and wealth, right? We got above ground. And they're pointing to that here too. They're pointing to love, wealth and luck, and peace. My dove, peace. Okay. So we have religion. I'm ignoring the time period because they're really drawing me to religion, which is just faith, belief, which you're showing right now coming to this reading. This is my heart of manifestation. It kind of has a filigree. I'm trying to get the camera to, there we go. So you see all the intricate, I can't even speak, sort of filigree here, right? And they all swirl into the heart center, the heart of the heart. So definitely a call for you to continue manifesting, to continue down your path of reconnecting with your belief system, your spirituality system, your faith system, vision boards, manifestation, soul connection, planned. You were planned to go through this course again, go through this climb to find your freedom, your peace, your wisdom. But were you gonna? I guess it's the kind of struggle that was probably different for us. Or because this was brought forward, are you going to stop doing this? Remember, I said you've come here a lot of times because it's yet to be learned. So it's almost like the angels are asking you here. Maybe that's why the crow is here, to remind you. You have repeated this life cycle, this life lesson, right? We're coming back to this standstill. You've repeated this tough time climb to wealth to freedom, tough time climb to wealth to freedom, tough time climb to wealth to freedom. And they're like, you don't have to do that anymore. You've learned that lesson, so cut that cord. You know how to attain wealth without a tough time, right? You got your notebook. You can manifest that. It's planned. Your soul has planned to connect with you today, your crow, to remind you of this. Okay. So I'm pointing toward more artistic here. For some reason, time frame is, I guess, insignificant, maybe because of the repetitiveness. So maybe you did repeat it in the Byzantine period. You did this in the Angkor Wat period. You did this in the Ottoman Empire. You did this in Turkey when you were here last. Maybe that's why you were on Explore and Venture. Maybe that's why your notebook is so full here. Look at everywhere you've been. Yeah, the patriarch, the matriarch. Oh yeah, ancient Rome. I knew there was another place up here. So we've got Rome, Turkey, Angkor Wat, the Byzantine period. You've been all over the place here. So the horseshoe is all about, your power of attraction, watching your thinking, positive thoughts, positive mindset. And it's on artistic. So they're kind of pointing again at this power of manifestation, the power of affirmations for you in this lifetime to cut the cord and move away from this repetitive pattern in your lifetimes. And then sitting on top of turkey, which was funny, was the dove. So they're kind of covering that up. They're like, no, it's not turkey. It's actually legal, maybe a legal matter. I was talking law and fairness, leading to wealth and freedom, in the sense of freedom. A gladiator, that's also legal, right? Or the Romans made it feel like it was a legal reason, right? You're in prison, essentially. You must fight for us. So legal. So in this lifetime, you might feel like you're either always dealing with legal matters, or you're currently or have just struggled through a tough time of a legal matter, which did come out in your favor here, and you should be seeing a sense of peace coming out of that. But it's time to cut the cord. So definitely energetically say out there, express. I've learned this lesson, soul. I don't need to go through another legal battle like this. I now know how to attract and manifest wealth to me. So just kind of let it out there, even if you just say, I agree, I accept, after I've said it. Your soul is doing that anyways, your heart and your soul. And that's leading me back to this spirit fox. So I'm actually going to lean into the meaning behind the spiritual meaning behind having a fox as your spirit animal at this time. And what does it say? Trust your talents in changing times. Yeah. So here we are cutting the cord. We're changing the times. We're changing our past lives trajectory here. So make this life the last life where you do this cycle, and then come back in the next life with a whole new adventure to explore, to add to your book. But I would say, for the rest of this lifetime, tune into your crow messengers. If they're coming around you, if they're sitting by you long enough to draw your attention, count how many there are, look it up, see how many times it caused. They usually will repeat the same number to you 2 or 3 times before they fly away, so that you get the message. So kind of lean into that. Lean into why your angels are giving you an earth angel, an earth messenger. But like I said, I think it's because you probably struggle with connecting to the dreamscape right now, so you're not receiving the messages direct from your angels. You might say, I'm not intuitive. I can't hear my gut, my intuition. So the crow is going to be that for you. Or you've just been a bit absent-minded, lost the thought, because you have so much on your mind over here, right? I started with all the responsibility, accountability that we're seeing here. So I'm going to end it there and wish you all good luck. I hope you enjoyed the journey here into the records. And of course, I actually ended it this way. The other reading ended with a clear journey back, but I'm leaving the door open. So I think that's for your crow, so he can continue to fly back and forth in between and continue to talk to you here. So you're not alone. These doors are always going to be open for you with your angels here in the guardian. So good luck in breaking this cycle. And let's check back in on the next past lives reading and see if there's been any progress here. It'll definitely let us know, or even in your monthly readings. We'll probably see the progress that has come out of you joining today for this past life reading.